survival guns, survival gear, survival packs, the get home bag, the I'm never coming home bag, man, the bug out bag. What about a survival jacket? Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about today. A survival jacket. Maybe not as cool, maybe not as tactical, but probably infinitely very practical, especially if you spend time out in the backwoods in the backcountry. I spent all morning chasing a mountain lion, which I did not get because Sabbath quickly approaches. I told the wife that at noon, if I had no elk injured or dead, then I would start heading home. I was doing an archery elk hunt, and I quickly stumbled upon this morning the tracks of a mountain lion. So I figured, elk's going on the back burner, tracking a mountain lion. But anyway, real snowy, cold, unforgiving country up here in northern Idaho, tracking this mountain lion up and down mountains and ravines and streams and in and out of, cedar thickets and who knows what else. But this just reinforced an idea that I've been meaning to talk about for a while. The survival jacket. And even if you have a survival bag, even if you take a survival bag, even if you go hunting with a pack, why might it be really important in the winter time, especially to have a survival jacket? Well, the big reason is don't keep all your eggs in one basket, right? Because you can set your pack down and get lost. If you're ever looking down at a steep, and this is mostly for western stuff, back east, you're probably rarely more than a mile from a road. But you looking down at a ravine or something thinking, I can get down there and get water, but it's going to be way more dangerous with a pack. So you leave your pack up at the top. Well, something happens and you get injured down there and you can't get back to your pack. Then you're stuck with what's on you. Or what if you have to run? And you surviving depends on you being able to run faster. You're going to drop that pack. What happens if somebody else gets that pack? Again, then you're stuck surviving with whatever is on you. What if you set your pack down, you're camping, you're going to another location, you're like, oh, I can see everything, I can see my way back to camp, it's no big deal, and then the fog rolls in, you get disoriented, and you're stuck with whatever is on you. I think it's a good idea to have a little bit more stuff, and I'm talking more than your EDC. Hopefully for your EDC, you have your gun, your knife, your source for the Word of God, with the Bible app on your phone or a small mini Bible, a large fixed blade knife or a folding pocket knife, whatever you normally EDC, some cordage, whatever your normal EDC is. I'm not going to rehash EDC, but this will be in addition to your EDC. Keeping stuff in the pockets of your jacket, because if you're out doing stuff, reconnoitering, scouting, hunting, whatever, hiking in the backcountry in the winter, you probably have your jacket, right? So why not fill that with stuff to help you survive? The big things here, important, again, not uber tactical, but vitally important. Gloves and hat. A good pair of gloves and a good hat. I would also add to that a neck gaiter. I really like, even before people were rocking them, before it was cool in COVID, long before that I was rocking those neck gaiters. I really like those. I like those in the summertime in the desert. I like them in the wintertime in the snow. They're just really good for keeping the elements, whether it be really cold wind or really hot sun, off of your neck, off that area that's often hard to warm, when you have a hat and you have a coat, but that area around your neck. So having those kind of things in your jacket, even if you have better ones, just having an old extra pair in your jacket, because you think, oh, it's not that cold, I don't need a hat. Then it gets cold and you wish you had a hat. Keeping an extra, $2 or $3 from Walmart beanie, watch cap, whatever you want to call it, in your hat. A cheap pair of gloves. Not that you shouldn't have better gloves, but having a pair of gloves on your person, even if you don't plan on wearing them. Also, those Mylar space blankets, they don't take up a lot of room. talk about all the cool things that you can do with a Mylar space blanket. Obviously, for survival, if you really are in a jam, you can roll up in them on the side of a mountain, and they do actually work. Ask me how I know, or I've actually had to use those when it got on the side of a mountain in Idaho a long time ago. Not today, but just it was crazy cold, and just huddling up in one of those things, they do work. And they weigh very, very little. Why wouldn't you have one of those on your person? Just in case. They also can be used as a rain barrier in case your go-to winter jacket is not waterproof. I like them. They're also good for if you're cleaning game, cleaning an elk, cleaning a deer on the side of a mountain. It keeps a bunch of dirt and nastiness off the meat. You can lay it down and use it as kind of a tarp to throw your meat on. And there's all kinds of other things you can do with them. You can use them as a ground barrier, like if you got to lay in the snow so you don't get wet if you start melting the snow with your body, which I did today, sitting on wet stuff. Sitting on dry snow, but then it melts and sticks to your butt and gets all wet and nasty. Those are good barriers for that. Some other things you may want to consider, and that would be a water filter, something like the Sawyer Mini. I'm not a big fan of the Life Straw. I used those for a while, and I switched to the Sawyer Mini, but something like it. I don't care if it's something else, but the Sawyer Mini, just because it's small, and I like them better anyway. But just having one of those in your jacket, again, they weigh very little. If you're talking about a proper winter coat, you're probably not going to notice the difference. Honestly, if you have a water filter in there and a space blanket in there and an extra beanie in there, you're probably not going to notice the extra weight anyway, because a big heavy winter coat is a big bulky thing anyway. Why not have that? Another thing is a compass. Just a flat lensatic compass, especially if you have like those inside pockets on your coat. Again, it weighs very little. Even if you have your phone, you can fall and break your phone. Even if you have an inReach, right? Sometimes the batteries go dead on there. Ask me how I know. Just a small basic compass. Another thing that you can do on your survival jacket that I like to do for my wife. I don't do it because I actually have the stuff on my EDC on my large fixed blade knife. But something you can do is make a toggle on your jacket with fire cord. And fire cord, if you don't know, is like 550 cord, but it has tinder inside the cordage. Like instead of just 550 cord, it's 550 cord with a wick inside, like a waterproof, fire sustaining material. You can make a toggle with that, and they sell these really small drilled ferrocerium rods, and they make the really small button compasses. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but compasses are attracted to magnetic stuff. They're attracted to iron. Will change the true north on the compass. So to use the little button compass, if you make a toggle on your jacket, you're going to have to take it away from the ferrocerium rod. But still, you can have all that stuff literally on the zipper pull on your jacket. You could have fire starting material. You could have a small ferrocerium rod. You could have a fire starting material, the small ferrocerium rod that's drilled, that you put the 550 cord through, and you could have a small button compass right there. How much utility and survivability does that add? To add very little bulk, very little weight, and plus a lot of times when it's really cold and you're wearing big gloves, it's hard to grab the zipper anyway. So why not have a really large zipper pull on there that is better anyway for zipping up and down your jacket, and gives you the ability to find your way back, gives you the ability to start a fire, sustain a fire, right? It just something small and simple that you can do. Again, it's great to have all that stuff in your pack, but if you don't, it's nice to have it on your jacket, even if it's inside your pack, right? Again, there's many scenarios where you may not have your pack, where you may not have your little day bag, or your whatever your system is. You could be stuck with whatever you're wearing, in which case whatever you're wearing should have a little bit more utility. And you can also add to that depending on where you are, right? You could have fish hooks, fish line in a little teeny kit. I would say like a film canister was kind of the go-to back in the day, but I can't recall the last time I saw a film canister. Something that works real good like that if you want to make a micro survival kit are the M&M minis. They come in like a dry, water resistant, hopefully waterproof tube. Small, lightweight. I don't recommend you eat that garbage, but even if you get it and dump the M&Ms on the ground, those containers are probably worth $1 or something that the M&Ms cost. And they're a little bit bigger, but you get the idea of a small cylinder container to put extra stuff in if you want to go and put a little bit more stuff in your go-to winter coat. Anyway, I'm not going to hammer it out too much. You can obviously do whatever you want. Don't get so ridiculous that you're walking around, your arms won't go down because you got so much stuff in your coat. But I think if you add a little bit of stuff to your coat, you probably won't notice the extra difference, and again, greatly increase your chances of survivability. All right, with that, the tactical tip of the day and then the tactical verse of the day. Tactical tip of the day. The tip of a stick. If you are really lost, right, this can help you find your way. As long as there is a fair amount of sun, enough to cast a shadow, you put a stick in the ground. You take a stone or mark a spot in the ground with another stick, whatever. The first place where the tip of that stick, the end of that shadow is on the ground, you mark that spot. You wait several minutes and you mark the next spot. The sun moves from east to west. I should not have to explain that. So the inverse will be true of the shadow. The shadow will move west to east. So your first mark will be your west line. You draw a straight line to the second point. That will be your east line. And then if you can draw a 90-degree angle, that'll give you your north-south. Now, this is not exactly true, and it varies depending on factors in your geography, but it's close enough. If you're really that lost that you're doing this technique, it's going to be close enough to give you your bearings. So, again, take a stick, put it in the ground, drop a pebble or mark with something in the ground, the first place the shadow is, wait several minutes, mark it again, that marks your west to east declination, then you can get your 90-degree north-south declination, and that'll give you a rough idea, hopefully, of a decent heading. That is your tactical tip of the day, your tactical verse of the day. It's one thing to be lost in the woods for a time. It's scary. I know. I've been there. It's another thing to be lost in life, which I consider far worse. To just feel directionless, lost in life, lost in what you should be doing or meaning. Whatever station you're at in life, it's always the right answer to turn to God. Turn to God in prayer. Turn to God in reading His Word. That's what the verse has to do with today. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. God's word is a lamp unto my feet. It's a guiding light in our life. It should be. Your